Mufti Syed Fazal Rahim, kendisi yönetici asistanı olarak görev yapmakta. Bay Fazıl, Pakistan Helal üyesi, Pakistan Menkul Kıymetler ve Borsa Komisyonu, ayrıca Pakistan ile ilişkili şeriat danışmanı olarak görev yapmakta. Mr. Rahim, word is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Elhamdülillahi ve salatu ve selamu ala nebiyyihi ve ala alihi ve sahbihi ve men tebi'ahum bi ihsanin ila yevmiddin. Amma ba'd. Dear moderator, distinguished speakers, honorable delegates, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to extend my congratulations and gratitude to the OIC CIMIC for organizing such a wonderful conference, the World Halal Summit 2021, in such a difficult time when, again, we are all in COVID-19 situation, and for inviting me again in this conference to be amongst you. So thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, being collected from homes and processed in the bone gelatin facilities, delivered and served to the hands of the customers in the shapes of multiple diverse products. The cattle bone is a reliable and trustworthy source in Pakistan as far as the supply chain of the bone gelatin is concerned. This presentation is actually the depiction, narration, and statement of a practical physical visit to the northwestern part of the country, the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, in order to assess the immediate bone suppliers, the intermediate bone suppliers, and the bone collectors for the purpose to Halal certify a bone gelatin facility, just like earlier my brother, the Honorable Dr. Ali, mentioned that there are some plants in Pakistan who have been Halal certified by Sanha Pakistan, so it is going to be one of them, Insha'Allahur Rahman. Hence, in this regard, the outline is the en route of the bone gelatin from homes to hands. Homes, the commencing point of the supply chain, and then up comes the collectors, who are very important, who collect bones from the homes going door to door, and then arrival at the intermediate suppliers dumping store, and then identification and cleaning of the bones by the intermediate, and after that arrival at the bone gelatin production facility, and then he also examines homes. The preliminary point of this journey, the commencing point of this supply chain. Now, why? Why is it the commencing, the preliminary point of this supply chain? Why is it the preliminary point of this journey? Just because the people in northwestern part of my country, they do not waste bones after eating their meals just like we do. In the central parts of the country, they actually sell those bones with the other wasted stuff, the home wasted stuff, the scraps and alike materials, to the bone collectors, to the scrap collectors. And this is supposed to be the secondary source of income for them. And this is just because their economic and financial situation. But by doing this, they actually lay down and they provide us a firm, a trustworthy, and a genuine, a real supply of bone chain, a foundation for that supply of bone gelatin. Now, coming forward, why homes are so important to be considered as the commencing point of the supply chain and as the assurance for halal? Why? We need to understand some factors. Some factors need to be understood, because these homes are situated in an area, and that area is situated inside Pakistan. So some bond-related affairs regarding Pakistan needed to be understood here. So ladies and gentlemen, here is my country, the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Its population on August 25, 2017 was 207 million, but as of November 2021, it has crossed almost 222 million. And now it is the world's fifth most populated country, the second largest Muslim country, and 97% population is Muslim, and these are the reports of Pakistan Bureau of Statistics. Now, the other important thing, that the per capita beef consumption has increased from 5.8 to 6.42 annually since 2006. So, a very vital kind of increase has been seen since 2006 up till now. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the report being issued by the USDA regarding 2020, the meat consumption in 2020. Now, we can clearly see here, Pakistan has been ranked at number 8. Yes, there are 7 countries above Pakistan, but all of them are non-Muslim countries. All the Muslim countries have been ranked lower than Pakistan. So as far as the Muslim world is concerned, the meat consumption in Pakistan is on the highest side. The fiscal glance at Eid al-Adha in Pakistan, we all know that Eid al-Adha is a very important occasion in the Muslim world as well as in the non-Muslim world for the Muslim community. This is a very important occasion. But unlike the other Muslim world, we in Pakistan, we purchase the animals, we keep them in our homes for some days, and then we slaughter them under our own supervision and sometimes with our own hands. So this thing discriminates us from the other world. If we can see the fiscal situation of Pakistan from 2016 to 2021, the gross business in 2016 was 160 billion. It was increased in 2021 to 450 billion. It was decreased to 174 billion during the COVID situation. But as far as the post-pandemic scenario is concerned, it has increased a lot to 450 billion. So from 2016 to 2021, a very vibrant kind of increase can be seen here. Ladies and gentlemen, the livestock overview in Pakistan from 2016 to 2021, if we can see the cattle situation, in 2016, it was 42.8 million. In 2020-21, it is 51.5 million. And look at the situation of buffaloes. In 2015-16, it was 36.6 million. In 2020-21, it is 42.4 million. And look at the camel situation. In 2015-16, it was 1 million. And in 2020-21, it has increased to 1.1 million. So these slides showcase the situation that the meat consumption, livestock situation, and the gross business as far as the Pak rupees are concerned is on the higher side in 2020 and 2021. Pakistan as meat exporter, yes, we have heard a lot that the Muslim countries are far behind in meat export. Pakistan is also, but now the situation is getting changed. Now the situation is changing. Pakistan has started meat export to the GCC countries. The brotherly country, Malaysia, they have approved 2 our companies for the meat export. The biggest market in the world, the Chinese market, they have also approved some of our companies for the meat export. And now as far as 2020-2021, circle is concerned, $333 million worth export has been done by Pakistan. Yes, it is still on the lower side as far as the overall situation is concerned, but the country like Pakistan, which was very behind in the meat export situation, this is quite an encouraging situation for Pakistan in 2020, 2021. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, this is something very important. The cultural obligation. Sometimes the cultural bindings are more effective than that of the religious binding. And when culture and religion get together, when culture and religion combine together, its binding force is at the apex level. Nothing can be more binding than that when the culture and religion get together. So the area which I'm referring towards as far as the bone supply is concerned, the northwestern part of the country, the southern part of the country. So in these parts, raising cattle and slaughtering them to fulfill the food requirements is cultural in these areas. And then more importantly, the inhabitants of these areas are Muslim for the hundreds of the years. Unlike the other parts of Islamic Republic of Pakistan, where the people don't have such kind of rich history as far as Islam is concerned. Now, consuming halal meat is cultural as well as religious. Now, all these aspects, when combined together, when get together, it provides a solid foundation to the homes situated inside that area, which is supposed to be the preliminary point, the starting and the commencing point for the fact to prove that the bones supplied from them are actually halal. Number two, the scrap, the meat collectors. These people are called kabadiyas in our local language. Now this is actually an organized network containing hundreds of personnel. What they do is they go door to door, restaurants, wedding halls with small loader rickshaws and other small loader vehicles. What they do, they collect scrap, wasted materials, along with bones from homes, small and medium restaurants and wedding halls, but maximally they collect the bones from homes. Almost more than 90% they collect the bones from homes. When we interacted with them, when we interviewed them, the bone collectors, I won't name them here, but as for the example, when we interviewed them, when we had a chat with them, they replied us that more than 90% of the bones we collected from the homes, and they sell to us, and they consider that as a secondary source for their income. Intermediate supplier. Let's suppose Mr. A is an intermediate supplier on the Peshawar Ring Road. Peshawar is a city in northwestern part of our country. Now, what he does, he has 10 to 15 collectors, the bone collectors. And what they do, they travel from place to place and buy not only bones, but other waste material as well. They buy bones from different butchers, homes, hotels, and wedding halls. As these bones are received at scrap shop, they segregate directly to the bone manufacturing facility. They have a network of 40 to 50 small and medium scrap shops, means the intermediate suppliers. They have the network of 40 to 50 intermediate suppliers. They collect 4 to 5 tons of bones daily. When they have sufficient quantity of bones, for example 10 tons, they load in a big vehicle and supply it to the gelatin production facility. Ladies and gentlemen, now comes the important thing, that how do they discriminate? How do they discriminate between the halal and haram bones? And between the fact that if the bone has come from the halal animal, either and whether that animal has been slaughtered or not, they depend upon the inherent skills and upon the traditional classical knowledge. Because bone identification has always been an interesting subject for mankind. Always been an interesting subject for mankind. And from here, archaeology has emerged, and such kind of scientific chapters has been also emerged. Now bones have their own language to talk about themselves. It is upon us, to understand them, that either those bones are from human, non-human, cattle, dog, donkeys, etc. Now this is a slide. Here are 3 bones in front of you. Can we discriminate between these bones, that from which animals these bones have come? We might not, because we don't deal with the bones. But the people who deal with the bones, they will tell you that from left to the right, it is the bone of a camel. In the middle one is the bone from the cattle, and the far right, it is the bone from the female horse. So depending upon the animal, the structure of the bone changes from one animal to the other animal. The structure of the bone of the cattle will be different and change from that of the structure of the dog or some other animal. So depending upon the structure, they actually discriminates. Now, the haram bones may be of the following 2 types. Number 1, bones of the haram animals like dogs, etc. Bones of the halal animals died without being slaughtered in compliance with the Islamic rules mentioned in the local halal standard and what have been just described by the brother Ali. Pakistan halal standard is almost in 90 to 95% in line with the CIMIC standards, because Pakistan standards have been forged on the structure of the CIMIC standards, and now on the regular basis Pakistan is adopting the CIMIC standards as well. So first check shape of the bone. Now, hard and clean cattle bone, this is the demand of the bone gelatin producer. Now, the hard bones, it include the jawbone, bones of the knee, forearms, shoulder blade, etc., etc. Now, these bones can be discriminated depending upon the structure. The structure of the cattle is different from that of the structure of the horse. The structure of the cattle is different from that of the structure of the dog. So when the bone comes there, they actually discriminate while giving the consideration to the structure, and they easily discriminate between the bones. Secondly, the second check, condition of the bone. Now, if the bone is of the halal animal, but that halal animal has not been slaughtered in accordance with the Islamic rules being mentioned in the local halal standard or the OIC CIMIC standard, that has been died on its own. Now, that bone has its indicators and signs, just like it has not cut by the slaughter. And then the color, the odor, the filthiness, the attached meat with it, and the skin with it, the whole bone skeleton. I mean, these are all the signs through which the bone collector or the intermediate bone supplier or the immediate bone supplier can easily discriminate and can easily identify that this bone has not come from an animal that has been properly slaughtered by a slaughterer, properly cut by a slaughterer. The bones have been properly cut by the slaughterer, because those bones that have been taken out from a maitha animal, and that animal has been died on its own or due to some kind of accident, the shape of the bone, the condition of the bone, the color of that bone, the taste of that bone will definitely be different from that bone that has been come out from a properly slaughtered animal. Now, arrival at the gelatin production facility, the bone supply enters the gelatin production facility with an affidavit. And now this is a requirement. Without this affidavit, the bone cannot enter into a bone gelatin facility. And now, what that affidavit declares and states, declaring the statement under oath that the bones are from halal animal being slaughtered in compliance with Sharia requirements. And then after that, bones are crushed here in the facility, and finally the bones are converted to gelatin that resultantly added as a part of the multiple food products. Now here we came at the conclusion, ladies and gentlemen. Bones collected from homes, restaurants, wedding halls are almost 100% halal as far as the northwestern part of the country, which I have elaborated. Now, yes, there are scandals, there are rumors, there are propagandas. I mean, these things happens, the rumors, the propagandas, the scandals about the haram animal, about the bone of the haram animal, but doubt cannot alter certainty. Al-yaqeen la yazulu bil-shak, walakin al-yaqeen yazulu bil-yaqeen. Certainty cannot be altered by a mere doubt. Certainty can only and only be altered and changed by the certainty, not the mere doubts. I thank you all, ladies and gentlemen, for your patience.